More news coming to the fore, bringing back the death penalty. It's a topic that really has been debated for years. This is the country's violent crime rate continues to remain high. But for now, the closing date for submission for constitutional amendments has passed. And authorities say that over 500 submissions were sent, largely calling on for the death penalty. So today we ask, should South Africa bring back the death penalty? Miles Bhudu is the national spokesperson for the South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights and joins us now for this conversation further. Miles, good evening. Thanks for your time here on the SABC at this hour.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're speaking to Miles Bhudu. Look, my point of entry from the South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights, we all rely on the constitution of the country because it is the only glue and chemistry that is keeping this country together under very trying circumstances. Look, South Africa does not have the death penalty. It was abolished in 1995. The Constitution in 1995 abolished it, and the court ruled that the death penalty, as was provided for under the then Criminal Procedure Act, was unconstitutional because it violated the country's 1994 Constitution. That is our point of entry, and I find it very interesting that we're still discussing something that was declared a crime against humanity and was abolished almost 30 years ago. Let's rock and roll.
All right, thank you for those opening remarks because, I needed to get your reaction to the submission. You've succinctly spoken to that. There's been questions about whether public demand should influence constitutional decisions. Does widespread support, indicate a democratic mandate for its reinstatement? We're looking at, what the death penalty means in terms of violating the right to life as enshrined by the Constitution. And so, as we look at this, perhaps we could also look at some of the cries that have come to the fore. So just to balance this argument, the risks against an innocent person, the morals against this as well, but also some of the view that this might reduce costs when it comes to what the financial burdens, pose for prisons and for society at large. Talk to us a little bit more about some of those concerns in, motivating for the submission.
Look, it is 31 years ago that is wasted. The people that were given carte blanche and bottomless agenda and mandate to work very hard to transform the criminal justice system that come from a past that was very horrendous, and that time is wasted. The criminal justice system is broken from the police, from the courts to the correctional services. It is bruised, it bleeds all the time, perpetually and unabated, and the people that will be hanged, the majority of them will be us, the black people, because a black man is always a suspect. And in fact, whilst you want to go and hang people, you should have by now put into place mechanisms that would have dealt with unemployment, poverty, unemployability, economic inequality, and inequality. And we have been wasting such a lot of time of people who we've given a mandate, and what they have done for the past 31 years, they have been stealing from their own people, they have been getting away with it. And if maybe we could start by calling the death penalty for white, black, gray, and common law political criminals, maybe some of us would start thinking the other way around.
Yeah, those are fair points. And even just your point about the criminal justice system at large, how, whether it is unbiased enough to enforce such punishment, but even just the capacity itself. We're seeing outcomes of internal disciplinary hearings within SAPS itself, and, how people have been acquitted despite evidence coming to the fore. And, these are obviously some of the questions that people really have been asking. What are some of those alternatives then, if we are looking at, trying to create respect for the rule of law and ensure that justice prevails? We're also strengthening, the judiciary as an arm as well. Talk to us about some of those solutions that you would like to put forth as we then discard the death penalty discussion for you.
We need South Africans who are loyal not only to themselves and their families and their close and distant friends. We need South Africans, black, green, blue or yellow, must work very hard to make sure that the country prevent combat hate, crime and violence and the causes thereof. And you know what the causes thereof, and all of us are in denialism, not to talk about the causes, but talk about locking them up, throw the keys away, or hang all of them. You can hang all of them. You can shoot all of them. You can put all of them before the firing squad. But I'm telling you, if you do not address the real root causes why people get up in the morning, go and commit a crime, and become criminal careerists, and be reckless, and be brazen, and be mean, we're going to run around this like headless chickens.
Okay.
And we're talking about a white monopoly capitalist, those who have access to means of production, and captains of industry.
Well, Miles, thank you for weighing in at this hour. And of course, just for the topic at hand, Golden Miles Bhudu, National Spokesperson for South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights, joining us for this pertinent conversation. We're looking at some of the submissions given the constitutional review, the death penalty also there once again coming to the fore, dispelling that, and of course also giving his reasons why.